So who are the 7 teams that will be punching their ticket to January football? I'm not going to waste your time. I don't want to waste mine either. So Michael, start the music. Division by division, let's start off in the AFC East. I have the Buffalo Bills still claiming the likes of the division title. I get it. They have got to prove that this is the year where it culminates. It all comes together. That last season's mishaps at the end of the season where you saw Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs getting it on the sidelines, where Sean McDermott's comments about, I would be worried about Stephon Diggs and how he is with this organization, they're all in the past. Kumbaya. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Great defense. Last year, still ranked in the top 5 in total yards allowed and in scoring. Great offense. You are looking for that number 2 receiver to pair alongside with Diggs. I believe it's going to be tight end Dalton Kincaid, the kid out of Utah. Hopefully the rushing attack improves with the addition of Damian Harris. Good offensive line. Hopefully gets better. I like this team. I think that we are doubting this team simply because of they weren't mainly a talk of positive throughout the offseason. But until you prove to me otherwise that there is another organization that can go toe-to-toe with Buffalo, they remain the front runners. Next up, I believe that the Miami Dolphins will come in second. As much as I think the New York Jets are ready to go ahead and make a postseason push, I still have to believe it, and I have to see it. I know what I'm getting in a healthy Tua Tagovailoa. I know what I'm getting in the duo of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think the offensive line will be better, not much, but better, because it'll be another year in Mike McDaniel's system. I think the defense is going to take a major step forward, and I would not be shocked to see several breakout stars that end up punching their ticket to the Pro Bowl. Jalen Phillips at defensive end, Javon Holland in the secondary. Really love David Long Jr. He was my favorite addition of the offseason for Vic Fangio's squad. If you can go ahead and survive opposite of Xavier Howard without a Jalen Ramsey, you may actually have a shot of overtaking Buffalo for the division title. Next up, I'll go with the New York Jets. I think that they will be better than advertised. I see double-digit wins on their schedule. There's question marks, but not major concerns on the offensive line. An elite number 1 receiver, potentially in Garrett Wilson. Good quality other receivers, such as Mecole Hardman, who's won a Super Bowl. Allen Lazard, who's already been the security blanket for Aaron Rodgers. Upgrade at quarterback. You're not having MILF-loving Zach Wilson going out there and slinging the rock. Top 10 defense led by Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, and CJ Mosley. I believe that they will be a playoff team this year. I just don't think that they'll do enough to win the division. And coming up in last place has got to be somebody. It's the New England Patriots. I like Mac Jones. I like this roster. I don't love anything about them. They're basically like when you have a bowl of Kix. Kix is fine. It's got a little bit of flavor to it, but it's basically pretty boring and bland as a whole. AFC North. I still got the Bengals. As much as I do love Pittsburgh, as much as I think that the defense is going to reign supreme for Baltimore, and I have been talking up the Cleveland Browns all offseason, I still believe that the team to beat is Cincinnati. They have the quarterback in Joe Burrow. He can be an MVP caliber candidate. They have a great receiving core led by T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. They have a top 10 defense that was vastly underappreciated last season. They're signing guys left and right, and they also know the pressure's on. Like, this is not going to be the same team coming back in 2024 because contracts are going to speak volume. They want to end this era of Cincinnati football on a positive note. I will not be shocked to see this team make it all the way to Sin City. Number 2, surprise, surprise, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pickett and Pickens are going to be one of the best duos in the NFL this year. You saw the report in the preseason. You saw a new uptech version of Pickett. I think that he is going to be one of the biggest breakout players in the NFL. He's really going to strut his stuff and be able to say, I belong in this, maybe not upper echelon, but definitely this upper tier category of AFC passers. Deontay Johnson still is there. Pat Freiermuth is an undervalued tight end in the NFL. I like this defense. You got 2 great pass rushers in TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. Decent secondary. Joey Porter Jr. is going to be making headlines by midseason. Minka Fitzpatrick might be the best safety in the NFL. And Mike Tomlin, he's basically like every other conversation. Hey, did you know that Clayton Kershaw and Matthew Stafford were teammates in high school? Hey, did you know that Mike Tomlin doesn't have a losing season? That's what you get in Pittsburgh. Steel City going to be back. Number 3, I'll go Baltimore. I think Baltimore has the roster. I think Baltimore might be one of the biggest wild cards in the NFL. If you tell me that they go 13-4, not going to be surprised by it. They have weapons. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr. could be back in for a breakout year, showing that he's broken up all the rust. And they have the number one defense once they add in Roquan Smith. I just worry that this new offense underneath Todd Monken is going to take a little bit of time to revamp up. So you're going to end up losing a couple of games in the process. Not to Houston, but maybe to like a Cleveland or a Cincinnati, to where you go 10-7 or 11-6. And pulling up the rear, but still a good year, I go Cleveland. I think Cleveland has a very sound unit defensively, great offensive line, overall quality weaponry. I'm just not an entire believer in Deshaun Watson. You know what? When you get paid $230 million, you better make me a believer fast, and I just don't see it. AFC South, let's not waste a lot of time. Jacksonville's winning this division. MVP caliber quarterback in the likes of Trevor Lawrence, great receiving core, headlined by the new addition of Calvin Ridley. I think the defense will take a step forward. They got some guys. Like, they're not an elite unit by any means, but they got some dudes on there. Tyson Campbell. I think Trayvon Walker's in for a big year. I love Devin Lloyd's tape when he was coming out of Utah. Wonder what he's going to look like in year 2 of an NFL defense. And their schedule is going to be easy enough for them to coast in the second half. They may end up actually going to be the second most improved team in the NFL. Number 2, surprise, surprise, I'm going with the Houston Texans. This is a desolate roster, but this is also a desolate division. CJ Stroud builds a rapport with Dalton Schultz on third down. I think the defense takes a massive step forward. They're going to lose games, and they're probably going to finish below 500, but I think the Texans do have the right culture in place with DeMeco Ryans, and they did make significant upgrades on the defense side of the football to where they won't be having to win in shootout fashion. It'll be low-scoring games. Let's see what Stroud does from the first half of the season to the second half. Tennessee Titans come in third place for me. I think that the team is good, not great. I think that they might be able to do some things offensively, but they're going to hit a crossroads by midseason. What are you going to be? Are you actually going to be a contender? Are you going to be a pretender? If you start trading off pieces, who's to say? And last but not least, Indianapolis. Best of luck next year. Hopefully Anthony Richardson pans out. AFC West. No surprise, it's going to be Kansas City. Kansas City still, in my opinion, is the best team in the league. They still have the best dynamic quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. They have an elite weapon in Travis Kelce, who might miss time, but not enough to where you have to be that concerned for the entire season. The defense knows how to win. Yeah, Chris Jones not being there is going to hurt. So don't worry about them because I know who's calling the plays in Andy Reid. Number 2, I go with the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost gave the notion to LA to surpass Kansas City this year, but then you get the news that you're probably getting Travis Kelce back at some point. They have an offense. They have dynamic weaponry, and they just got even stronger with the addition of Quentin Johnston from TCU. How does this offensive personnel look under new coordinator Kellen Moore? Can Justin Herbert find ways to make sure his team is a cut above the rest? And can this defense stay healthy for a full 17-game stretch? Pressure's not on Justin Herbert, even though he got paid. Pressure is on the likes of Brandon Staley to deliver. Next up, I'll go Denver Broncos. I think that they take a step forward, but not enough to where you trust them entirely. And I'm going to put the Las Vegas Raiders in last place. Someone's got to come pulling up the rear. Great to get back Josh Jacobs. Just do not believe entirely that they're going to be making enough strides. Number 1 seed, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs, just based off of morals. Number 2, I'm going with Jacksonville. I think the Jaguars take a massive leap forward this year. 13 wins are plausible. I think they're probably more so around a 12-win team. Trevor Lawrence is going to be an MVP caliber candidate. This is why they go ahead and get number 2. Number 3, I'll go Buffalo. I think Buffalo does a good job mitigating the waters, and they stay ahead of the curve. And number 4, I will go with Cincinnati. Actually, switch that. Cincinnati number 3, Buffalo number 4. 3 wildcard teams. I have Miami making it in. I think Miami is a good enough roster if they stay healthy with the Tua Tagovailoa. Pittsburgh gets in. I'm putting in the Steelers. I believe that the Steel City franchise is going to do wonders this year. And last but not least, I'm going to go with the New York Jets. They have the quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. They have the likes of a top 10 defense. They need to prove that this 13-year drought is coming to an end. So go ahead and give me Gang Green, slip it in as the number 7 seed. Guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.